Hello everyone and welcome back to Mary's Creative Decor. On today, we'll be making a Starburst Mirror wall decor. So to get started on this project, we're going to use this 15-inch round mirror. I have some 3/16 by 12-inch wooden dowels that I picked up from Dollar Tree. We're going to use about 16 of these today. And as you can see, they're the thicker ones. These are the dowels, so we will be using those today, 16. I also have a pack of 100 wooden screwers. We'll be using those today. I know I'm going to use all 100 and possibly a few more. I'm going to use my gold Rust-Oleum metallic spray paint. I have my hot glue gun, and we'll be using my strongest glue sticks, Gorilla Glue Sticks. I have my shears, or you can use an X-Acto knife. I also have a poster board that I picked up from Dollar Tree as well. We'll be using that on today. So let's get started. We're going to get started by laying the mirror on top of the poster board, and then we're going to trace out the circular shape of the mirror. Once I've drawn the shape of the mirror onto the poster board, I will use my shears, X-Acto knife, or a knife to cut out the shape from the poster board. I'm going to elect to use the steak knife today to cut out my cardboard circle for a cleaner look. I've heard that it really works, so we'll see today. Well, looks like for me the steak knife didn't cut all the way through, so I'm going to revert back to my scissors and cut that last piece of paper. So I'm going to use my scissors to continue the cutting of the circle. I'm just cleaning up the edges of my circle. Then I want to take this wreath and make a smaller circle inside my cutout. I'm going to use 3 different sizes to make 3 different circles for my poster board. So let's start with this one. Then I'll use my charger plate to make a second circle that's smaller than the wreath. So now we have the 2 circles on our cutout circle. Here we have 1 end, 2 end, and now we're going to use this glass plate or saucer to make the 3rd circle. Now that we have all 3 of our circles drawn on our poster board, we're ready to add our dowels. We want to take 8 dowels. We want to first start with the first 4 going north, east, south, and west, and then 1 dowel in between for a total of 8. And that means our first dowel is at 12, the second dowel is at 3, the third dowel is at 6, the fourth dowel is at 9, and then back to 12 for 4, and then 1 in between. Go back, add another dowel, 1 in between each of those, which will give you a total of 16. And this is what it should look like. And as you can see, the dowel is on the first circle that I drew. Now we're going to take the screwers. Each of the screwers we're going to add to the second row. And we're going to go in the middle of the dowels with the screwers on the second row. The screwers should be easy to go on with a little bead of hot glue, or you can draw it all the way to the end, a bead of hot glue, and just hold the screwer down. I'm using a dot of glue just in case I have to move the screwer. Because this is a lengthy process, I'm going to glue these screws down off camera and come back with the next step. Before I finish off camera, let me show you what the process looks like. One screwer between each of the dowels. Now we're moving to our third row. We're going to locate our middle dowel again. Then go to our third row and we're going to put a bead of glue on either side of the dowel on the third row. And then we're going to add a screwer to each bead of glue, ensuring that the screwer is centered in the middle. And here we go. There's our large dowel, our bead of glue. We're adding our screwers. Once again, we're making sure that the spacing is in the middle or equal distance apart. Now we're going to add the second screw to the other side of the dowel. Again, making sure that it's centered or equal distance from the other screwer. Hold the screwers until they dry, and if you look, you can see the starburst starting to take shape. Now we're going to turn it to another angle or to another dowel. We're going to add a hot bead of glue on the third row on either side of the dowel. Then we're going to take two screwers. We're going to add one to one side of the dowel. We're going to make sure that it's centered. And then add a screwer to the other side. Once again, making sure that it's spaced equally distance apart. And that's why you want to use just a bead, so you're able to move it if necessary. I've completed about half the circle, and this is what it should look like. Once again, we have the third row now, and we have a screwer on each side of the dowel. Once again, ensuring that they are straight, and you can see the starburst really starting to form. My camera is about to die, but I'm going to continue adding my screwers on either side of the dowel, and then I'm going to go back. Between each screwer. There should be now 3 screwers. The middle screwer, which is the longest one, I'm going to add another screwer on either side of that screwer. Now you should have 5 screwers between each of the dowels. I'm going to do that. When I come back, you'll see the results. I'm making 2 smaller starburst mirrors. And I just want to start over and show you guys once again so you can have it. So here again, I have cut my screwers in half, and I put one north, east, south, and west. Top, bottom, side to side. These are my 12-inch screwers, and I measured and cut them in half. So right now I've cut in half about 20 screwers, which give me about 40 pieces. And this is what I'm going to use on my smaller mirrors. So I'm drawing a bead of glue between each of the screwers, and I'm adding another 12-inch screwer right down the middle. As you can see, 4 screwers now becomes 8 screwers. Now we're going to add a bead of glue between each one of the 8 screwers, which will give you 16 screwers. I'm going to continue adding my screwers between the 8 screwers that's there, Then I will go back and add another screwer between the 16 screwers, which give me a total of 32 screwers, leaving the pointed side out for the last 16. I am back and I have finished adding all of my screwers to my Starburst. Now my camera died, so you didn't get a chance to see me add all of them, but I did complete it, and my last 16 is the pointed side screwers out. So if you look at my Starburst, there's a pointed one in between every screwer. And that's how it ends. And I took it out and painted it. You flip it over on the back side, you can see where I did cut another piece of cardboard to go on the back, and I will add a hanger to that. And we just have to add the mirror to the top. I'll be using my Gorilla Glue along with my hot glue gun to affix the mirror to the Starburst. And here is what my Starburst look like. And now I'll be doing the same thing to my larger Starburst. My larger Starburst has been completed as well. I painted it, and on the back side I added popsicle sticks to strengthen the Starburst. I made sure that every screwer and every dowel was covered with the popsicle stick to make it strong. I've also cut another smaller piece of poster board to add to the back side. I will adhere this again with my Gorilla Glue and hot glue. And once I do that, I flip it back to the front side and I will add my mirror. Once I add my mirror, I'll come back and you'll be ready to see all three. As you can see, the mirrors have been added to all three of my Starbursts. And now I'm doing some embellishment. I'm doing this for a client, and her living room is teals and shades of teals and turquoise and gray. So therefore, I'm adding some turquoise bling that I had to the screwers, as well as some turquoise and clear jewels to the tips of the screwers. Here is a look of the jewels that I used to embellish the tips of my screwers. And here is my Starburst complete. I have delivered it to my client's home, and she was so gracious to let me film it on her wall. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful and looks perfect on her wall. I decided to add 1-inch round mirrors to the tips of my screwers, and I did this off camera. I also added Mardi Gras beads around the 15-inch round mirror, and I spray painted them gold. Again, I think it turned out absolutely beautiful and goes perfect in my client's home. I also think the smaller ones are a perfect combination to fill up her wall. We're still in the process of decorating, waiting for some pieces to arrive, but so far the Starbursts are perfect in the room. And if you guys have enjoyed watching this video and its content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, share it with your friends and family. Also hit that notification bell, bing, so you will be aware of all my upcoming videos. I would like to thank all of you all for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.